Hey all, we got a double whammy review today, both from AliExpress, both under £20, and both using the same chipset and operating system. So let's see how they get on. The handheld we're starting off with is named the X6. It's got a vertical form factor akin to a Game Boy, and it can be found in the wild for roughly £15. So when ordering this console, I did have some high hopes. The advertisements and everything on there, the pictures of the console, they all looked pretty good. There was the common, for this price point, misspelling of a lot of words and dubious claims, like HD screen. Also, I think that I saw that it reported to have DDR1 RAM, but then also DDR2 RAM, so it couldn't make its mind up about the RAM. But anyway, so like I said, these are all around about £15, and obviously that's like 3 times more expensive than the previous handheld that we reviewed. So going into it, I knew it wouldn't be like 3 times as good, but hoping for at least twice as good. Claims to support a lot more systems for emulation, so all the way up to Game Boy Advance, SNES, and Mega Drive. But yeah, so obviously it arrived, and immediately from taking it out of the box, there was a rattle. And yeah, it's got really clicky buttons. It's really hollow feeling, and really light, but yeah, it was just, it felt really cheap. Dare I say, even more cheap than the console that we tested last time, that £5 one with the 400 games on it, which weren't 400 games. But anyway, so yeah, not good. And then after a while, it just wouldn't work. So we thought maybe it's just died, and battery's dead. So we put it on charge, and the LED lit up for it to be on charge. Left it for a couple of hours, came back to it, tried to turn it back on, nothing come on. So ended up obviously taking it apart, as you see. And yeah, the battery is what was the rattling, because it's not stuck down only with a bit of self-adhesive tape or something. And with all the rattling, the live cable to the battery has become disconnected, so that would need to be soldered back on, which, to be fair, I'll end up just doing anyway. But it's, again, this shouldn't be something that happens. I know obviously it's a cheap console, but it's not something that should happen. So as you can understand, that's where the review on this console ends, really. Obviously at the end of the video we'll do the scores for it, but yeah, not a great experience at all. And the second console handheld that we've got is the X7. As you can see, it's got a horizontal form factor, a bit like a PSP or PS Vita. It obviously clearly designed to look like a Vita, and then but with the Switch colouring, Nintendo Switch colouring on the either side. Again, this was in the same ballpark, around about £15. I've seen that you can actually pick it up for even cheaper, Alibaba, but you do have to pay shipping for it, which is about £2 or £3, but it still works out cheaper. So you can get it there for about £10.30. So yeah, it's neither here or there really. Again, dubious claims saying that it's like high HD resolution and all this. It's actually just a 640 by 480 TFT 4.3 inch screen. It's got an 8GB SD in it, SD card, and it apparently can go up to, again, this is a bit strange, either 32 gig or 64. Depends on what day of the week it is, I suppose. And you've got various versions of this one. So this one, they keep on bringing out different iterations of it, slightly different each time. This is the 2025 version, but even still, there's two of these that are out at the moment. One which is like a plus model or a pro model. Basically, the only difference is that it's, instead of being a 4.3 inch screen, it's got a 5.1 inch, and the 5.1 inch has got a camera on it. And then you're paying about £5 to £6 more. So as you can see, it's a very basic user interface. I believe it's a Linux-based operating system, but very, very lightweight. You can't make any amendments to the emulation on any of the games. So what you see is what you get. Supports NES, Game Boy Color, Super Famicom, SNES, Mega Drive, Game Boy Advance, MAME, which is like some arcade type games, Famicom, which is NES. Then you got Game Boy, and I believe you've also got some Master System games as well, and some hacks, which I think some of the other stuff on there is, and various other types of arcade games as well. But yeah, you're not going up to PS1 or anything. And what we found is that everything, so NES, Game Boy Color, Game Boy, Master System, all fine. No issues really whatsoever that we found. The only time that we get the issues is when we get to the SNES and Mega Drive and Game Boy Advance games. So there's certain games in particular. So SNES, the sort of games that you know that will struggle, if they are going to be on here or not, then it's going to be like Super Mario RPG, also like Star Fox, things like that, which all had different chips actually on the cartridges to make the SNES perform better than it normally would. And then you've got the Game Boy Advance games. Some of them they wouldn't even open, so they would open and then they'd just kick you straight back out again. And then you've got on the Mega Drive, it's like Sonic 2, for instance. The gameplay itself seems fine, runs at kind of normal speed, but the audio runs at like half speed, and it's really jarring. I didn't like it. But then with Sonic 1, for instance, no problem, absolutely fine. But yeah, like I say, you got some Game Boy Advance games really good, others just won't even load. So let's just do a quick size comparison with a few things before we get to the scores. It's the X6 is a bit wider than a lot of the Game Boy variant ones, and that I thought was going to be pretty good to hold it in the hand, and I still think it would be, but it's just poorly done. So yeah, next to the Xbox controller, and then quite aptly, because quite frankly, that's my view of both of these. Now, admittedly, this one is better to hold, but again, it's just so cheaply made. The buttons are so clicky and just not great. And then here we go with the previous one that we reviewed, and looking at it now, I still really like it. But yeah, on AliExpress, yeah, £16.39 for the X6. Not worth it. But look, you're looking at all of this and you think, yeah, it looks pretty smart, but it just isn't. So I think, they've done really well in making it look good. But look, here we go. Look, DDR1 and DDR2 support. So what is it? I do like the old built-in 2-watt chamber horn. But yeah, so they're both roughly the same price. If I was going to pick between the two, it's quite clear I'd pick the PS Vita style one, the X7. Only because, number one, it still works. But it is nicer to hold. But yeah, nice. It's a bit subjective, really. And again, this is something that's very dubious. So supported game bits is like 8-bit, 16-bit, 32-bit, 64, and 128. It does not support 64 or 128. I believe, obviously, the Game Boy Advance was classed as a 32-bit handheld, so it kind of does. So here we go with the scores. So on this one, build quality is going to be low because obviously it fell apart basically internally. So yeah, on this one, we've gone with a 2. And with the price, it's just not worth it. But I mean, if it did work, it kind of would be in a way. So yeah, we've gone on the price side of it. We've gone for a 3. Now the performance, like I said, everything up to the SNES. Well, I'd say anything below the SNES and Mega Drive and stuff worked absolutely fine before it broke. So. But then everything above that was a bit hit and miss, so that's why we've gone for a 4. It's not doing what it advertises. And next up, I'll hand you over to Reaper himself.
Thank you, Chicken Wing, for passing it over to me, and my score is 3.
So yeah, and then that gives us a total of 12 out of 40. Not great. So yes, that's 30%. When you look at it like that, I still think 30% is quite high for what it is, but the numbers don't lie. For this one, it's going to score higher. Build quality is better all round. It doesn't feel hollow or anything. But again, there's certain things like with the D-pad being on a slant and just the buttons, the analog sticks. That's why we've gone for a 4. Again, the price, because it's more worth the money because it didn't break. But I don't think it's worth 3 times the amount as before, so as the other console. So that's why we've gone for a 4 on that one. And again, the performance, if you're going into it, thinking like it's not going to do this, that, and the other, whatever. But again, we've gone for a 4, the same as the before. And once again, let's hear from Reaper.
Thank you, Chicken Wing, and I give this console a 5.
Which brings us to a total of 17 out of 40. It's obviously better than the other one. So yes, 42%. Just a quick wrap up. Always going to be hit and miss, I think, with AliExpress or any of those sites or these consoles. Just keep your eyes open. If something's too good to be true, it potentially is. Have a look on other sites as well, and reviews. Again, if something's got 5-star reviews and no negatives, again, potentially stay clear as well, because they could just be fake reviews. But that's the world that we live in, I suppose. Before I say goodbye, I just want to say thank you for everyone that has already subbed to the channel, and a big please, if you do like what we're about, please support us by just hitting that subscribe button. It'd be much appreciated. As soon as we get to 50 subs, then we're able to go live on here to do streaming. Also, don't forget the previous review handheld that we've got, you can win that. If the moment we get to 50 subs, we're going to do a competition and give that away. Potentially we'll give one of these ones away, not the broken one. We'll keep that. But yeah, just keep your eyes peeled. Thank you very much.